Now, I don't know why 50 and Diddy keep going back and forth. I don't know why Fifth stays on Puff ass, but
Pause.
I'm not sure why 50 and Diddy keep going back and forth, and I'm not sure why Fifth stays on the down low. But Keefe D, the man who revealed his secrets in an interview, found himself in legal hot water facing murder charges related to Tupac's death. He thought it would be a great idea to write a book and then hit up hip-hop blogs, discussing how he was involved in taking down one of the greatest rappers ever. Talk about a major facepalm moment, huh? Fortunately, Keefe D's plan backfired miserably, so now that he's been busted, everyone is getting a behind-the-scenes account of what really happened that night, who fired, why the FBI knew for years, and why the individuals were never apprehended. In addition, people are spilling the beans on how the billionaire himself P the story of Diddy's involvement with Suge Knight and how a cool $500,000 bones vanished due to the wrong person. Or, if you believe the rumors, the wrong hitman is truly bizarre. What's even more bizarre is that it has been making the rounds on the internet for years, ever since DJ Vlad met with Keefe D and Greg Cady, the detective who first led him to spill the beans about Tupac's murder. They even leaked the tape of Keefe D confessing to how he and his Southside crew beat up Tupac wild. Now, according to DJ Vlad, it was widely accepted in Los Angeles that the Southside Crips had a role in Pace's tragic death, but even they didn't have the whole story. Now, imagine this. On September 7, 1996, Tupac was shot 4 times in a drive-by shooting in Vegas. The night before, things were relatively calm. Diddy is currently under fire, and people are questioning him about whether or not he attempted to have Tupac removed. Let's take a trip back in time to see how it all began. After handling their business, Tupac and Suge were ready to hit the club, especially Suge Knight's club, 662, which was spelled out mob for those old cell phones where you had to press the key multiple times. T9 texting, cuz they were all rapping about that mob life. However, Tupac and Suge's plans took a drastic turn when they spotted a Crip member in the hotel lobby. From there, they straight up ambushed those guys near the casino. You've probably seen that crazy video before. Key was certain that Suge, who was also in the car, had a guardian angel or something because a bullet bounced off his head and he managed to survive. Well, we thought he was dead when he was shot in the head. He was hurting badly. He took 1 shot to the arm, another to the thigh, and 2 more to the chest. One of those bullets went straight into his right lung. Okay, the first bullet went straight through his head, so Schneid's response wasn't him trying to grab to know. He was lying. Sadly, though, it was too little, too late, and on September 13, 1996, Tupac passed away from all the injuries. For decades afterwards, the police had no idea who had killed him, so a lot of wild theories began to surface. Some people claimed that Suge had planned the hit and killed Biggie to make it appear like gang warfare. Some even suggested that he tried it off Tupac, despite the fact that he was shot, but that's one of the most absurd conspiracy theories ever. Regarding the rumor that P Diddy paid someone to pull the gun, the individual who said they performed the job is now coming out with the explanation that, yes, that is what truly happened. So why would Diddy ever want Pac out of the picture? To put it in one word, competition. Pac was getting so much traction and popularity that it was getting out of reach for Diddy and Bad Boy Records. Like you tell Tupac, keep his guards up, we riding with him. And one other thing I like to say, any artist out there, you want to be an artist and want to stay a star. Don't want have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record dancing come death row. Now we got to rewind to August of 1995. The East Coast-West Coast beef had been simmering for a while there, but Suge Knight cranked up the heat at the Source Awards. The death row boss threw some major shade at Diddy in his speech, basically calling out the Bad Boys record honcho for his ad-libs and constant appearances in the Air music videos. This a big slap to the face for Diddy and his record label ambitions. Now keep in mind Bad Boy was making waves, but they weren't on the same level as Tupac and Death Row Records. There were levels to this game now. All this happened after Suge crossed paths with Tupac at the time. Tupac was locked up in a New York prison. waiting for his appeal on the December 1994 conviction. The details of their conversation are still a mystery, but whatever they discussed changed the game in hip-hop. Forever Suge met up with Tupac again in October, and after taking a shot at Diddy, it was game on. Suge needed a secret weapon to take on the East Coast and Bad Boy Records, and that's where Tupac came and bailed Tupac out with a cool one. $4 million and got him to sign a deal with Death Row Records. They rolled back to LA together, and in February 1996 Tupac dropped an iconic album, All Eyes on Me. It's still to this day considered one of his greatest works, and a legendary rap album. Tupac made the choice to accept this super gangster. Sona had evolved into Suge Knight's tool in the conflict with Bad Boy. His music then took a much more violent tone after signing with Death Row, and that played a huge part in escalating this beef with the East Coast Tupac, who had a more theater background than being a real gangster rapper, took on his gangster rapper role seriously, and I might have let him down. This dark path then, not long after All Eyes on Me hit the scene, Tupac unleashed, hit him up one of the most epic diss tracks in hip-hop history. It dropped on June 19th, 1996, and it had folks going nuts. He called himself the Bad Boy Killer and laid down some of his most disrespectful lines ever, all aimed at Biggie and Diddy. The track that put the entire East Coast on high alert, man. No doubt about it. This is where things supposedly go from Diddy being a music mogul to being some sort of mob boss. Rumors been floating around for ages now that Diddy had ordered a hit on both Tupac and Suge Knight. Let me tell you, he's been swatting those rumors away like flies for years, but now the game might be changing, because we finally uncovered just how intense that diss track was, the circumstances around it, and why Diddy might have felt the need to take some drastic action against the guy who was wrecking this company's rep. Fast forward to today, and P Diddy got SLA with first-degree murder charges. They picked him up on September 23, 2023. Keefe claims to be a Southside. And here's a kicker. Though while we're all scrambling for answers and trying to piece together what went down during that time, Keefe D was up there spilling the beans the entire time for like a whole decade. All right, so let's dive into the juicy stuff. What KD's had to say about Diddy possibly being involved in orchestrating Tupac murder. This where things could potentially get legal real quick for Diddy. Back in 2011, Keefe spilled the beans and confirmed that Diddy had supposedly put a cool $1 million dual bounty on not just Tupac, but also Suge Knight as well. Keefe D revealed that Diddy had introduced him to a guy named Zip, who was also a member. Zip was supposedly in on the hit, and his role in this whole mess would become a major factor in Keefe D opening up about telling the story and everything instead of just keeping his mouth shut like he probably should have, allegedly, and at least according to D and apparently the FBI. Diddy handed over half the cash to Zip once the job was done, but he didn't get the full amount because Suge Knight miraculously survived. Zip walked away with a cool $500,000, then straight up appeared with all that money, and guess what? He didn't toss a single dime to Keefe, the guy who had a hand in setting up the hit and was in the car when it all went down after Pass got killed. Puffy gave Zip $1 million that was supposed to be handed over, and Zip ended up keeping it. And I remember when I interviewed TK Kirkland, who was actually roommates with Zip at one point. They were that close. He actually said, yeah, the F said that too. According to Keefe, Diddy wasn't about to share anymore cash, leaving Keefe with Zill despite all the trouble he got into. If Diddy had simply paid off Keefe at the time, this whole mess probably wouldn't have resurfaced years later. But it seems Diddy might have thought he could just sweep it all under the rug, considering who's going to admit to a murder even if you didn't get the money you were promised for. But here's the thing, though the situation creates a unique scenario for Diddy, and it might be his escape route from all these charges. Why? 'Cause Diddy died